Welcome to the 2022 Unity Beginners course. This is episode 7 and I will demonstrate coding with vectors and transforms. There are two types of vectors in Unity, namely vector2 and vector3. They represent two-dimensional vectors and three-dimensional vectors, respectively. A vector is basically a group of data. We have x and y in vector2 and x, y, z in vector3. Vectors are widely used in games and virtual worlds. Data such as positions, rotations, and scales can all be expressed using vectors, and these data are contained in transforms. In Unity, two vectors can only be added or subtracted. Multiplication and division of two vectors are not allowed by default. However, we can multiply or divide a vector by a scalar, or a single value. Vector2 and vector3 can be manipulated together. When you apply a vector2 to a vector3, a z property with the value 0 will be added. When you cast a vector3 to vector2, the z property will be ditched. There are some predefined properties in the vector classes. For vector2, we have vector2.up, vector2.down, vector2.left, and vector2.right. These are useful predefined axes, and I personally use them a lot. For vector3, we also have vector3.forward and vector3.back as well. Vector2 and vector3 have similar properties and functions, and I will mainly talk using vector3 from now on. The properties vector3.0 gives a 0 vector, and vector3.1 gives a vector with all x, y, z set to 1. The vector classes also provide some functions to process vectors. The magnitude property outputs the length of the vector. The normalize function, or the dot normalized property, outputs the direction of the vector with a length of 1. Speaking of length, the standard unit of measurement in Unity is meters. You should pay attention to this if you work with the physics system. Let's make a simple transform script. We will manipulate the position and rotation of this cube continuously. To do this, we simply create a new script and go to the update function. Write transform.rotate, parentheses, vector3.up times time.delta_time, and the cube will rotate about the up axis. We can also move the object forward using transform.translate, parentheses, vector3.forward times time.delta_time. Time.delta_time is a scalar value, which represents the elapsed time between the current and the previous frame. The higher the FPS is, the smaller the value of time.delta_time will be. We can also multiply this value with other scalar values to adjust the final speed of the action. We can also find the distance between two vector positions using the vector3.distance function. This code here scales the cube within the range of 0.1 and 2. The Mathf class is a floating math class from Unity that provides useful math functions. The Mathf.PingPong function is used to achieve the results you see right now. These are the fundamentals of transform manipulation and coding with vectors in Unity. There are so many things that we can do with all these classes, and we will continue to discover more in the later episodes. This is episode 7 of the 2022 Unity Beginners course. I am Yeahlowflicker and I will see you in the next episode. Stay tuned.